Graphing calculators today. I definitely want to talk to you a little bit about that. We're not going to use it the first right off the bat, but as we move down the worksheet, we will. I asked you to go to what problem yesterday about?
16.
16. Okay, so let's just review real quick and let's make sure we're in good shape. Did we do, let me give you the answer to 3 and 4. If you have a question with 3 or 4, let me know. The slope was -3/4, and the slope for number 4 was 7/3. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at 5 now. All right, so 5, we can do this real quick. I went down a certain amount, and then I went over a certain amount. I went down how many?
4.
So the slope is
-4.
-4/3. Is everybody happy with that? Connor?
I was gonna ask a
No,
question.
no, I know, but not like that, you're not.
Well, I just didn't want to like.
Okay, what?
No, I was gonna ask.
Thank you. Number 6. All right, for number 6, again, it's the same principle. You're just going up and you're going over. So I went up how many?
4 and
Everybody happy with 4/5? Any issues? Okay. And question number 7. I went down and then I went over. So somebody tell me m equals negative.
7.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Everybody happy with that? Good. All right, so again, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Number 8, it looks like I said it was -1/4. All right, we did 9 together, right? We did 10 together, correct? Did we do 11 together? No. 12?
No.
All right. So now what I need you to do is, those were kind of some rules I laid out for my other algebra class, which we talked about, but that's a kind of a summary. All right. You have to put it in y equals mx plus b form. Then you have to plot the y-intercept. Then you have to use the slope to find the second point. Then you have to draw the line. All right. So I think it'd be a good idea if I just reviewed number 12. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Let me just erase this real quick. All right, and then we'll go step by step. No, listen, you really don't need that. All right. I promise you, listen, we're going to do probably hundreds of graphs. I promise you, listen, it's very simple. Plot the y-intercept and use the slope. All right. So the main thing you're going to write down right now on your paper is y equals mx plus b. And what is m again, guys? We've already done that 1,000 times. Slope. And everybody should be able to tell me now, what is b? The y-intercept. B is the y-intercept. All right. If you don't know that, you have to make yourself a note on that. All right. M is slope. B is y-intercept. All right. Now I want to look at x minus y equals 3. Isn't that in the right format? No, it is not. So what do I have to do? I have to take the x, watch, I'm moving the x over. And when I move the x over, it becomes what? It becomes negative. Now, don't put the x after. I just put the x after the 3 just for a visual. All right, so what I want you to write down is negative y equals negative x plus 3. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
And then do you recall what I said? Negative in front of a variable means just change the signs. Everybody hear me? Negative in front of the variable means change the signs. So when I change the signs, this becomes y equals x minus 3. Anybody have any questions with that? All right. So now what number's in front of the x? So the slope would be what? 1 over. Seriously, 1 is what as a fraction? 1 over 1. Come on, guys. 1 is the fraction 1 over 1. All right? And the y-intercept would be what? Now notice what I'm doing for the y-intercept. I'm making the y-intercept a point. That helps you remember that you use the point first and then you use the what? Slope. All right? So now to graph this, I plot what point? No, you can't say I plot -3. You plot 0, -3. Thank you. So I plot 0, -3. What was the slope? So I go up 1 and over 1. You go up 1 and over 1. And from there, we graph the what? We graph the line. All right. That's not that bad. Quick.
How did you get the 1 over
What number's in front of x?
1?
You're supposed to say there is no number in front of x. So there's an understood 1, like James was saying. There's an imaginary 1 there. Okay?
So that's like,
So that's 1 over 1.
and you just like, for this slope, you just put the number over.
Yes, exactly. Unless it was like 2/3. Then you don't put that over 1. It's up 2 over 3.
So
Good.
if it was like, instead of it being 1x, if it was like 2x, would it be 2 over 1?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because 2 is the same as what? 2 over 1.
1 half.
2 is the same as not 1/2. 2 is the same as 2 over 1. Now that doesn't make, listen to, now what I'm trying to get you to do is, when you say something, now I just want you to listen to what you said. You just said 2 is equal to 1/2.
I meant 2 over 1 over.
No, I know what you're saying, but that's what I'm trying to show you. Think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, the number 2 is 2 over 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want you to realize. All right, now's the time you're asking me a question if you're not sure about what I just did. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the next problem. All right, so the next problem is 2x plus 7y equals 14. So what do I have to do first? Go ahead, Connor.
Divide by 15.
No,
No, divide by 7.
come on. Connor, help him.
It's not in the right order, right?
Yes, it's not in the right order, so what do I have to
So you
do?
make it 7y
Oh.
equals 2x plus 14.
Tell him, Allie, what do I have?
You make it, no. Yeah, no, you make it 7y equals 2x minus
You guys are making a
Negative
mistake.
2x.
Yes, negative 2x. Good, I'm feeling better now. 7y equals negative 2x plus 14.
plus 14.
Yeah, now how do I know it's 14? Listen to me.
Oh, because there's a.
This 14 right here is positive.
Okay.
I didn't move that, so that stays the same.
Okay.
When you move something, the sign changes. And now what, Allie?
Okay, and then you're gonna divide 7.
Right, so y equals negative 2/7 x plus 2. You with me on this?
Yeah.
Now tell me what the slope is, please.
The slope is 2.
The y-intercept is.
And
The y-intercept is.
the y is 2.
Yes, the
And
y-intercept is 2, and the slope is.
Is negative 2.
There you go. Okay? Now how do I graph it?
That's a question.
Come on, quick.
Why would the y-intercept be 2?
Did you not divide by 7? So what's 14 divided by 7?
2. Oh,
So
okay.
what? You with me? Do I need to put divided by 7 on everything, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right? So now to graph it, what do I do?
Okay, and then you go 0 and then 2.
Right? 0, 2, and then
And then you go down.
Yes,
over, negative-
down,
Okay, no. Down 2 and
and
then over 7.
that's right, down 2 and over 7. And then you're drawing that. Hold on a minute. Connor, I don't want you talking. You're getting some control. That's the graph. What's the problem? Do you understand how to do it now? Okay, that's why we're going to practice a lot more. Okay, so now 13. Again, do we do 13?
Yeah.
All right, so what about 14? We didn't do 14, right? Okay, so now I was a little upset with some people because I said there were different techniques, and I asked you to graph this using the x and y intercept. Everybody with me? So to graph it using the x and y intercept, remember, this is the technique you're supposed to use. Make a table, a 0 for y and a 0 for x. And you just plot those points. So if y is 0, what is x, guys?
Um,
So which one? It's 2.
If I said if y is 0, so in your head, you're supposed to visualize that as being a 0 now. So if that's 0, it's just 7x equals 14. So x equals 2. All right? Now, you're letting the x be 0. So that you're visualizing as 0. So now it's just negative 2y equals 14, so y equals... Go ahead, I'm listening.
So can we just do that for anyone?
No, you
That's the
cannot. Listen to me.
XY.
Listen. There are specific ways that I need you to do it. The reason why is because the more advanced you get, we're not going to ask you about the x-intercept and the y-intercept. All right? We're not going to do that. So to start off, we teach you how to graph using a table. Okay, then you work a little bit more and you talk about the x and y-intercept. Then the one that everybody uses is slope-intercept form. All right, that's honestly the easiest one. All right, it's super easy. All right, but you have to know how to do it all because they're going to ask you these questions on standardized tests. All right, and I understand your confusion, and listen to me. That's why there's a whole bunch of problems here on this worksheet for you to practice.
I like understand this table where it's just like.
I understand that, and I'm telling you, you're smart enough to understand everything, but you're not concentrating like you should. All right? If you do that, it's all easy, I promise you. All right? And make yourself some notes as we're going. If there's something you don't understand, you write down some notes. All right? Now, the next one, y equals 3x plus 6. Now, here's what I want to tell, because I think Connor's asking a very good question. Why can't I just do it the easiest way? And I'm going to tell you, you can. All right? Now, the easiest way, listen to me now, because he did say something important. This right here, the easiest way is to do it by using x and y intercepts. That's right. It depends on what the numbers are. All right? Now, over here, this is really set up to do what? Y equals mx plus b.
So it's like whatever it's like.
Yeah, that's so eventually you'll just be able to say, well, that's easier to do it the intercept way. That's easier to do it the slope intercept. All right? There's things that you look at that you learn to recognize that make it easier. And I'm all about making things easy. So since I'm all about making things easy, the best way to do this problem is it's already in the right format. Y equals mx plus b. Does everybody agree with me? So we're going to change the directions. All right? So how do I graph y equals 3x plus 6? Freddie, what do I do?
Alright, well, 3x is 3 over 1. So,
That's right.
and 6 is 0.
Perfect. So what do I do? Very good.
Alright, so you 0.06.
Yes, plot the point 0.06. Thank you very much. Good listening. All right, now from there, what?
Up 3 to the right 1.
You're awesome. Thank you. Up 3 over 1. So again, you're going to have to make some choices now. All right, Connor, are you with me on this now?
Yeah.
Both Connors?
Except wait.
Come on, yes. What do you want me to do?
You just leave the y alone.
I'm not. I'm trying, but I'm not sure what you mean by.
So like the 3x was like.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So there's a format to this, buddy. So this right here is how you do it. The slope is 3 over 1, and the y-intercept is 0.6. Now, I'm not technically just leaving the y alone, right? Now, I want to say this, guys. The x and y represent the points that are on the graph. How many points are on the graph? An infinite. Do you agree with that? Right? So there has a place. Do you understand? That's why they call it a variable. X and y can change. But the slope and the y-intercept remain what? The same. That's why they call them the constants. X and y can change. You hear me on this? So it's not that I just left the y out. It's that the y can be a whole bunch of possibilities. All right? So I'm feeling much better about that now, guys. All right? Now, did we do 15 with the table?
No.
Okay. So what did I ask you to do on 15? And why would I plug in, instead of -101, why would I do -303? Yes, because you're dividing by 3 and you eliminate the fractions. Does everybody hear me? Now, again, I'm really asking you to practice your mental math now. Everybody in here should be able to say 5/3 times -3 is -5. -5 plus 2 is -3. Is everybody good with that? Then you plug 0 in. You get 2. Then you plug 3 in. Now, what I was showing the kids yesterday is that these always have a pattern. Bless you. So this would be another what? +5. Is everybody good with that? Right, happy? All right. And then you just plot those points. Everybody's good plotting those points? All right. 16, yeah, I accidentally typed in the same equation. All right, so everybody jump to 17 for me. What numbers am I going to use on 17? Go ahead.
Would it be negative 4, 0, 4?
Yes, negative 4, 0, 4. And when you plug in negative 4,
You do negative 4. No.
so here's how I want you to think about this. 1, 4 times negative 4 minus 2. You take negative 4 and divide it by 4. What is that?
That's.
Someone help me.
16.
You're not even listening. 4 divided by 4 is 16. That's what you just said.
Oh, 1.
It's negative 1.
Negative 1. Negative 1 minus 2.
Negative 3.
So the answer is negative 3.
Yeah.
And then when you plug in 0, what do you get? So, negative 2, right?
Yeah.
Now, the next one's obviously going to be what? Negative 1, because we can follow patterns. All right, is everybody happy with that? Now, do you see how using a table is kind of dumb? Right? Because why? Because we should be able to look at that and say, how do I graph that? Everybody.
It would be
Y equals
start-
plus.
So what do I do? I'm asking you how to graph it.
Wouldn't you just
What do I do?
You start at negative 2.
Start at negative
and then you
2.
go up 1 into the right.
That's it. That is so easy. Yes, that's what you're doing. All right, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's that easy. That's why I've been standing up here saying this is easy, but you have to be patient. You have to listen to the explanation. There are multiple ways of graphing every single line. You can graph it by using a table, which I teach to 6th graders. All right? Then you graph, when you get a little bit more advanced, you start graphing using intercepts. And now you're going to graph using the slope and y-intercept as you get more advanced. Now, I would expect everybody just to look at that and say, who would do a table if I can just go down 2, plot a point, up 1 over 4? No one would. No one. All right, does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So obviously, like Connor said, can I just do it the quickest way? Yes. But on the test, I'm going to specifically ask you to do it each way. You have to know. And then other times, I'm just going to say graph the line. And you just do it however you want. All right? It's very easy. That's what I've been trying to tell you. All right? But you've been stubborn. All right? So now, I tried to trick you on number 18. All right? I tried to switch the order there. All right? So if I'm going to graph what numbers by table, what numbers can I plug in? Negative 1, 0, and 1. Now, we're practicing mental math. All right? So if I plug negative 1 in, what do I get?
Negative 2.
I want the final answer, guys. Someone, please. 9. What do I get when I plug in 0? What do I do when I plug in 1? Come on, guys. Now, I'm having a hard time with that. Some of you telling me, well, if I plug in negative 1, I get something other than a 9. Come on, what? 7. I wrote down on my paper, 7 minus 2 times negative 1.
Oh.
I asked what I was laughing inside. I just didn't want to embarrass anybody. Come on, guys. Everybody should be able to look at 7 minus 2 times negative 1 and say that's what? Obviously. Obviously, that's what? 9. If that's not obvious, just put your hand up. I'm going to show you. What's negative 2 times negative 1?
Oh, 2.
7
okay.
plus
Okay.
2.
Okay.
I thought you
Yeah, no, think back to 5th grade when we were doing order of operation. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, in this case, though, it's not necessary to use a table. Now, I want you to think clearly. What is the y-intercept? 7. The y-intercept is 7. What is the slope? Yes, negative 2 over 1. So the quick way to do this is to plot 7 and then go down 2 and to the right 1. The reason why we're going down is because it's negative 2. All right, is everybody good? This is where you're getting your practice. No daydreaming. This is where you're practicing. All right? Don't take my word for it. Graph it yourself. All right? Now, let's skip the table. All right? Let's skip the table now. All right? You guys are good. So I want Drew, tell me how to graph this. No, there shouldn't be a fog. What?
So, okay, so you go up to.
Wow, okay,
and
good.
then
You're
you
lucky.
do -5/1.
Yes, down 5 to the right 1. Now look, I'm not doing it necessarily on here, but everybody should have it done on yours. All right? So you're going to +2, plot a point, down 5, over 1, and then you're graphing the line. All right? That's what you're doing. You got a problem with that?
No, I got that.
Come on now.
I got that.
Everybody? Maxine?
Yes.
All right, let's move on. All right, so now I want Maxine to tell me how to graph this one.
Okay.
Not using a table, using our easy step.
Okay. I'm understanding this step.
Oh my goodness.
The easy
I've been
step.
stop. No one's talking to you. All right, all I'm saying is if you don't know something, you can't wait till I've explained it 10 times say I'm clueless. That's not how we're working. If you don't understand how I did 19 or 18 or 17, put your hand up. No one cares. I've been trying to tell you guys, no one cares about if you're understanding how to graph a line or not. It's your responsibility to tell me you don't know. All right? Because some of you now realize, right, Connor, how simple it is, right? It's simple. All right? All you have to do is pay attention. And when you don't know something, you raise your hand. I most of the time want to help. All right? And depending on who you are, right, you might get better help. All right? So here we go. What number am I doing?
20.
20. You're doing 20. You ready? So here we go. Now, is it in the right format so far?
Yes.
All right? It's in the right format because it's in y equals mx plus b. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's b?
B6.
So, wow, how hard is that? You just go up 6. That's all you do. You go up 6. Then, what's the slope?
The slope is 5 halves.
So, I go,
To the right.
slope is
Oh, y over x.
delta y over delta x. Now, you got to write all that down.
Okay.
And I'm not going up 5 because 5 is what?
Negative.
So, what do I do?
You go down 5.
Down 5 and
Down 5 and left 2.
down 5 and
Right.
Right 2.
because the 2 is,
Positive.
come on, now you know how to do it.
This is 5.
No more excuses. You know how to do it now. Wake up. Speak up. Or you're going to continue on the same path. What?
Why isn't 2 negative?
Okay, so here we go. That's the most common question. So I'm going to go ahead and address that. What? You ready to listen?
Yeah.
Here we go. So do you agree that's -5 over 2?
Yeah.
If I make that negative,
They just cancel out.
the fraction is no longer negative, but what?
Positive.
You're welcome. I know that's what you were thinking. All right, here we go. Now, does everybody agree? This is a good setup. Now, try to make yourself a note. That's a good setup for using the x and y intercept. That's the best way to do that. This one is set up to do y equals mx plus b. Everybody happy with that explanation?
Oh.
All right, so here we go, real quick. All right, the first one, x, y, 0, 0. If I let y, let's see who can do the mental math here. If y is 0, what would x have to be? 5. Thank you. No, 5. 5. It's 5 because 20 minus 20 is 0, right?
Yeah.
So everybody, now, you guys are saying, huh, too much. 20 minus, just watch. If the y is 0, 0 equals 20 minus 4x. Add 4x to both sides. 4x equals 20.
It has to be 5 plus 20
Yes, exactly. So y is, or x is what? 5, right? Now, if x is 0, y is what?
4.
4. Now plot those points and graph the line. All right, Ryan Terrett, tell me about y equals 3x plus 6. What do I do? We're on 21. Nope. Just graph it using slope and y-intercept. Start at 6.
You go up 3 and then
Yes.
Oh, it's right here.
Are you graphing all these with me? You act like you're just sitting there staring. Sitting and staring and watching is not getting it done. Yes, thank you, Ryan. That's correct. You go up 6, plot a point. From there, you go up 3 over 1. All right, now, we should be all crystal clear now on what to do. If somebody asks you to graph a line, it should be no problem whatsoever. All right? Now, I'm going to flip ahead a little bit because I want you to take care of all this. Graphing, all of that. Graphing, graphing, graphing. Okay, so, what? Don't you understand?
32. With,
Okay, instead of writing an equation, they just tell you what the y-intercept
so you
is.
would start at -3
And?
6 to the right.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, don't be confused just because it's worded a little bit differently. Okay, I think have done a fantastic job. All right, so here we go, guys. All right. No, actually, what is on number 36? Everybody jump down to number 36. All right, everybody jump down to number 36. Okay, so it says, find the rate of change. What is the rate of change? What's the rate of change? What have we been talking about? Yeah, I know, but no. Now listen to me. Here's what some of you guys are making a mistake on. Rate of change is not the percent of increase or decrease. What is rate of change?
It'd be like 2.
Nope. There's a specific word for rate of change. Yes, but a rate of change is a what? Is a slope. Everybody needs to underline rate of change. It's not talking about a percent of increase or a percent of decrease. Rate of change means find the slope. Rate of change means find the slope. All right, make sure you write that down. That's on all standardized tests. The rate of change is a slope. Now, in order to find the slope, I need to do what? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And some of my kids say, well, I'm confused because number one, I don't know what x and y is. And number two, there's not just 2 points. There's, looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. The slope will always be what? The same. You have to find 2 x's and 2 y's, subtract them and divide them. Does everybody hear me on this? Right? So you could do, now, which one is x and which one is y?
Distance is y.
Very good. Distance is y, time is x. All right, thank you. All right. Find the slope, find the slope. Okay, now, how much time do we have, guys? We have 20 minutes. Okay, so listen. Now, who has their graphing calculator? All right, I'm going to try to show you some cool things today with the graphing calculator. Now, again, what I need you to do, though, is listen. I'm going to start out with something a little bit easier. I'm going to show you how powerful your calculator is. All right? Now, if you don't have a calculator, if you're friendly with someone, it would be nice if you, those of you guys with a calculator, and I normally, you know, if you would help and share and look on, I would greatly appreciate that. Just like those of you guys who don't have a calculator, it's very important that you pay attention. Listen, as easy as this was over here that we did today, your calculator is just as easy. Now, on my screen here, I can put up my calculator, but I want to demonstrate, again, if you pay attention, all right, you can get it. All right, is everybody hearing me? All right, now, you have to be patient, and the first thing out of your mouth isn't what, huh? I don't like that. You listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I'll go slow at first, and then I'll pick things up. All right? Now, this tomorrow, question 41 through 44, or I'm sorry, 40 through 44 is what we'll do tomorrow. Does everybody hear me? All right? Because I got to show you how to use your calculator first. All right? Now, I want to show you how really kind of cool your calculator is today. So what I want you to do is try to listen carefully. Now, on your calculator, we're going to learn today how the calculator actually graphs lines for you. All right? So what I need for you to do, that one, you need a graphing calculator to work. All right, so Son, will you let her look on with you, please? Thank you so much. All right, I appreciate it. And like I said, I used to have calculators, but people borrowed them yesterday. All right, where's yours? Where's yours? Do you have one? Well, please, he's a very friendly person. So get up and go back there and sit with them. Come on. All right, you're not just going to sit there. It's too, it's too much. All right? And again, I'm telling you now, since the beginning of the year, I've been telling you, get your calculators. Get your calculators. Get your calculators. Now you're going to be way behind if you don't get a calculator. All right? So here we go. Pay attention now. All right? So, listen. What I need everybody to do is I need everybody to find the Y equal button, which is the top right, or top left. I'm sorry, top left. All right, so everybody go to the top left where it says Y equals. Then what comes up is a bunch of Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5. And if you scroll down, sometimes you don't have to, I'm just listening to me. Sometimes you can literally, when you get to advanced math, you might be looking at 6 or 7 or 10 graphs at once. All right, so your calculator has the ability to graph anything. All right, and that's why I say you're going to use this all the way up through college if you plan on going to college and do a little bit of math. All right, so now everybody hit Y equals. Now I want to show you how to graph a line. So the first one we're going to do is we're just going to graph Y equals X. All right, now where's the X? All right, here you go, listen to me. There's an X, there's a T, there's a theta, and there's an N on the same button. All right, and that is right under the mode, right next to your alpha, right? If you hit that, it comes up now Y1, right, and then an X goes in. Does everybody agree with that? Now watch how super cool this is. All right, because you have messed with your calculator, the window might be wrong. So whenever your window is wrong, the first thing you want to do is start out by hitting the zoom button. All right, and the zoom button is in the top middle. So the top middle, hit zoom, and then you're going to go to standard, which is 6. And then you hit 6, or you can go down, but then when you hit 6, go ahead, hit enter, and now it graphs the line, Y equals X. All right, you guys are going to be very good at it because it's just like a computer. All right, now what I want you to do is go back to Y equals. Now, go back to Y equals. And now, when you're at the X, click over to the right one, and now hit the square button. So now you're going to actually graph Y equals X squared. And then hit graph. All right? And once you hit graph, all right, you should see what's referred to as a parabola. All right? Which is a quadratic. It looks like a U. All right? It looks like a U. So your calculator can graph anything. All right? It can graph anything. Now, do me a favor, please, and listen. You can't understand what I'm doing unless you're doing it yourself. All right? So your neighbor who doesn't have one, every once in a while, let them hit the buttons. All right? Now, what I want you to do is go back to Y equals for me. Go back to Y equals. All right? And then I want you to clear it out. Shh. You gotta listen. Clear it out. All right, hit the clear button. Does everybody agree? Now there's nothing, right? So now what I want you to do is I want you to type in 2x minus 3. I want everybody to type in 2x minus 3. In the window, 2x minus 3. No, I don't want you to, I mean, if you graph, it's okay. Now, you got a little problem here because, okay? Now, listen, if you want to hit graph after 2x minus 3, if you haven't done that yet, please do that, and you'll see the graph, right, is 2x minus 3. Is everybody with me on this? Yeah. All right. Now, again, what I want to introduce to you now is something super powerful. Is remember we did it by using a table, correct? Now, I want everybody to hit, you see the graph button? Look above the graph. What does it say?
Table.
Table. So now you can hit the second and hit the table, and now the corresponding x and y values, that table that we made, it'll make it for you. All right, it'll make it for you. Second table. There you go. Now what I want you to do is I want you to scroll up and down, and you can see that it changes, correct? You with me? Are you scrolling up and down? You understand what I'm saying, right? Boys, you guys have to tell me now if it's not clear. All right, you can't sit here because tomorrow I'm going to be aggravated if I tell you to do something like, what? What? I don't want you doing that. Yes, perfect. Okay, now, listen carefully now. The table is set to automatically enter the points. Do you agree? Now, what I'm telling you is that's not a very good way for the table to work. All right? So now you got to listen carefully to me now. I need you to hit the second button. And now, above window, it's TBLSET. That stands for table set. So I need everybody to hit that. Now, what comes up is a screen that allows you to dictate what the terms for the table are. Well, what you want to do is you want to go down to independent. See where it says independent, which we all know is the X, right? And I want you to convert that over to ask. So click to the right one and hit enter. Now go to second table, and now nothing should be there. Second, and then go to table, and nothing should be there, correct? Because you have to enter the points. Now type in 1. Type in -3. Type in -8. Type in anything. All right? And what comes up, right, are the values. Come on, get involved. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me you're lost. Second table set. Go down. Follow directions. Go down. Go over. Hit enter. Second table. Now you got to enter the points yourself. Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Go to table. Just hit second table. Table. There it is. But you didn't second table set. Second table set. Ask. Enter. Now when you go to second, nothing there. You type it in you want. Remember how sometimes we did -3, 0, 3, or something like that? You can plug in what you want. All right, you good now?
Yeah. Wait, so how would you, like, if you want to, how would you go back? Oh, there.
What?
Yeah.
You got it or no? So hit enter.
Oh,
Wow. After you type in a number, you have to actually hit the enter button, and then it spits out the answer for the Y that corresponds to your X.
Good job,
What's the matter?
When I press enter,
This is so weird.
Now, it says syntax error, probably. The reason syntax error just means there's a communication. What you told it to do, it doesn't understand. Now, most of the time, the syntax error is this. When you type in -3, most people are typing in a minus sign instead of a negative.
Yes.
So that's where the syntax error comes in. All right? There's a negative and a minus. All right? There's a negative. Oh, you didn't miss much. Don't worry. All right? There's a negative and a minus. You understand? All right? Now let me see yours also. There could be a syntax error. All right?
you didn't have one versus before, but there's blue. I like the other one better.
Now we're pink.
I remember you used to get like, yeah, but I like the notice. Yeah.
Oh,
I have the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't have
pure and white.
Really? Yeah, I know. Well, okay, so what color? What about blue? Oh, that looks so good.
Wait,
The
white
Yeah.
Because the white ones, they look.
And also,
If I get braces, I want mine to be.
Okay. Now, again, listen to me, please. One last thing. One last thing. All right. Your job now is to make sure that you understand what I said today about graphing, using the graphing calculator. You're expected to be able to type in an equation, y equals, that's why we always use the slope-intercept form, y equals. You type it in, and you can look at the graph. All right. Now, one last thing I want to do is to show you how to change your window real quick. All right. So please do me this favor and go to y equals, or not go to y equals, but go to window. All right. Hit the window. Now, on a standard screen, it's going to be -10 by 10. Does everybody see that? And what do you think when you hit the window, what do you think the X scale means? That's how much it counts by. All right, does everybody see that? So now what I want everybody to do is I want you to change the X scale to -3. Change the change the X minimum. I'm sorry. I want you to change the X minimum to -3. Everybody change the X minimum to -3. And then I want you to change the X max to 15. 15. And then I want you to change the scale to 3. And then I want you to go to Y minimum and change that to -20. And then I want you to change the Y maximum to, let's say, the Y maximum, let's go to 50. And then I want the X scale to be 10. All right, now graph. Now, what happens? Go to 10. Go to 10. The Y scale to 10. And then go to graph. Now, does everybody see what happens, right? You're actually just changing the X and Y. Does everybody see that or not? You don't need to show me because I already know.
I didn't know it was red.
All right, what I'm trying to get you to realize is that you can change the window to whatever you want it to be. Does everybody hear me on this?
Is there a way to just
Now, very good question. James finally got a good question in. Now, after you mess up the window, at the beginning I asked you to go to Zoom Standard. So everybody hit Zoom and then go to Standard. And what does that do? Converts it back to a -10 by 10. Is everybody with me on this? All right.
How do you change it? Like, go away. Do you just clear it?
Clear or delete?
How do
DBL is
and then
delete.
graph?
There you go. Okay, now, listen. You are responsible for this whole worksheet being done, except for those last 4 or 5 problems. Is everybody with me? All right, go through. It should be super simple. Now, Connor, I kind of fussed at him a little because I said do it this way. Now I want you to be able to do it the quickest way. All right, that's what I want you to do. You always try to do it the quickest way possible. All right, is everybody with me? All right. Now, anytime you want to back out, you just hit second quit, which is above the mode. Second quit. Very good job, guys, today.